Hello guys, NautoAisDx here, and I want to give my thoughts on Sega FES presentation during the weekend. Last week they had like some sort of presentation in Japan. Basically, their plan, so what they're gonna do in Sega, in Japan, and sort of in worldwide. So I'm just gonna get straight to it. It's not really that much, but it is interesting. So during the presentation the first thing they announced was that Sega is gonna do a Sega Mini Drive or Mega Drive Mini, basically kind of compete with the SNES or the NES Classic Mini. So people think, oh yeah, so Sega's version, they're gonna do their own mini console, but apparently days later it's been revealed that the company who's been doing the Genesis flashback, and apparently the quality is bad, I've been seeing videos about it, are the ones that's handling it. So what does it mean? Is it good? Is it bad? It's what Sega's gonna be, gonna keep an eye on it, or it's just, hey, here's our blueprints, or maybe it's just gonna be in Japan, who knows. But a lot of people said for Mega Drive Mini or Genesis Mini just became, oh wait, it's developed by Games. So again, just have to wait and see. I was thinking about it, but when I heard about that, I'm like, oh well, if that's gonna be the deal, why not just get a flashback? I know they said they're not that good. And then most people were happy about this is Shemue HD finally coming on modern console. In Japan it's going to be only PS4. In America or outside of Japan it's going to release not only the PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. Unfortunately, no Switch announcement. Again, no one knows why. Most people reason they said what, it's probably because when they were developing this game, they didn't have the Switch dev yet, and they probably needed more time. Who knows? It's just a high-ref version of Shemune from the Dreamcast version, and to some extent Xbox outside of Japan. So finally, I finally have a chance to play this game because, believe it or not, I've been lately playing the Yakuza game. I can't even believe it. I'm not even a fan of the Yakuza game, but because my friend basically asked me, oh, can you play this? And we're gonna see what happens. So I played most of them, so we'll just have to wait and see. So finally I get to see the original Yakuza style, which is Shemune. From what I heard, Yakuza was sort of, the idea came from Shemune. So finally get to see it. It's gonna be in high def, so basically HD. To some extent the Dreamcast wasn't. Of course, don't do a language. That's also a reason why I'm giving more chance, because you really cannot not listen. If you remember this meme in the past, Sailors. So Shemue HD. So there you go. A lot of people finally get a chance. I finally get a chance to play. And then of course Sega announced Sega Ages for the Switch. So right now it's basically, from what I heard, what they said was, it's basically their Sega catalog going to the Switch. So it could be their own program. Maybe it's not anymore Virtual Console. If you remember, the Virtual Console was a big deal in the Wii, especially part of them was TurboGrafx 16 and Sega Genesis. So is there going to be a Sega Genesis Virtual Console, or is it just going to be Sega Ages' version? Who knows? They're going to show right now, they said 5 games. On top of my head, I can only think of Phantasy Star, Sonic, Thunderblade 4, and that's all I can think of, unfortunately. But yes, I have to wait and see. Will it be a PS4 version? Well, of course, remember that the PS4 and the Xbox has their own Genesis collection that's coming. And that one is not even on the Switch, but it's like a collection. It's basically based on the Steam Mega Drive collection, so they're putting it on console this time. Again, just have to wait and see. I think it's interesting, but maybe PS4 in the long run. And then the last thing they said in the presentation is a new Sakura War for a long time. So I did play Sakura War game, Sakura 5. I forgot what the subtitle is. It was on the PS2. I bought it on the Wii. because it was cheaper. Finished the game. It wasn't that bad. But again, that was the last Sakura game, and then there was some virtual novels, books, and of course, what's that game? Project X Zone 1 and 2, the characters from Sakura Wars were in it. But now finally, they're gonna have a new Sakura War. What is it? No one knows. So another addition that they also announced is that Valkyria Chronicle, the original Valkyria Chronicles, is finally going to the Switch. That makes also because of it, they're delaying Valkyria Chronicle 4 on the Switch. I don't know what that means. Doesn't really matter for me. I already have the PS4 version. Not only the PS3, but the PS4 version. I pre-ordered Valkyria Chronicles 4, but Amazon Prime. The only thing I hope what Sega would do would be nice is to high def Valkyria Chronicles 2. I do have that game. Kinda hard, but I do have that game. And maybe finally localize Valkyria Chronicles 3. I mean, it was also on the PSP, but at the time what happened was Sega just said, yeah, we couldn't really support it. It wasn't selling. So there you go. So yeah, for this quick vlog, my thoughts about Sega in general. So some are good, some are bad. So Sakura Wars making a comeback. Valkyria Chronicles also going to be on the Switch, so more people get to play it. Sega Ages interesting, you just have to wait and see. Again, the Mega Drive Mini, good when the guy presented, but the minute they said, oh yeah, we're working with 80 games, then, well, you just have to be careful and see what happens. So those are my thoughts about the Sega in the future. I think they're finally getting back to the game. We just have to wait and see. So with that, thanks for listening.